Hi everyone, this is Dr. Nitin Chhoda and welcome to this important episode of Ignition Time, everybody. Boy, oh boy, is this going to be an interesting episode of Ignition Time. I have news for everyone, and I have breaking news for everyone, important comments, important clues actually from everyone's favorite senator, Senator Bernie Sanders, Mr. Mitten. By the way, Mitten rhymes with Nitin, which is my name. Just thought that would be a fun fact that would be hard for you to get out of your head. But seriously, important breaking news, everyone, from Senator Bernie Sanders from Vermont. Let's just jump into it. This is breaking news, everyone, from Ignition Time, where you learn about the country, where you learn about the economy, and where you learn about your money. Let's just jump right in. Breaking news from Ignition Time. Important comments from Bernie Sanders from Vermont about what's likely to happen with stimulus. So, folks, Bernie Sanders, the independent senator from Vermont, was interviewed today, and he said, and you'll actually see this article on your screen. He said Democrats will use reconciliation to pass stimulus relief as soon as we possibly can. Pretty significant comments, everyone. Again, from Bernie Sanders. Basically, what he's saying is that Democrats will move quickly to pass some stimulus relief. And he said, we are going to use his exact words, we are going to use reconciliation, that is 50 votes in the Senate plus the vice president. He said that we are going to use reconciliation, 50 votes in the Senate plus the vice president to pass legislation desperately needed by working families in the country right now. And he said that, he said that he had criticized the process of reconciliation in the past to enact major changes in social policy, but he's defending the decision to use reconciliation right now. He said Americans need stimulus aid, while Republicans in 2017 used, his words, used reconciliation to pass, to give tax breaks to billionaires. That's what he said. And he said, yes, I did criticize them for that. And if they want to criticize me for helping to feed children who are hungry, or senior citizens in this country who are isolated and alone and don't have enough food, then they can criticize me. Pretty strong comments, folks. In fact, I tell you what, I think that instead of just giving you a link to the article, and by the way, I will provide you with a link to this article in the description section below. So you'll definitely be able to use the description section below to read the article. I can actually show you the video clip where Senator Bernie Sanders was interviewed. Let's take a look at the clip and let's analyze it together, everyone. He said that the Democrats should use the process of reconciliation to pass stimulus relief right away, because he said the Republicans have used it in the past. Now, just so that you know, just so that our viewers and subscribers know, what is reconciliation? Reconciliation is a process where by a simple majority, meaning 51 senators. Remember, we have 100 senators, right? So if all 50 Democrats vote for something, in this case, let's just say it's the big stimulus package, and then the vice president Kamala Harris becomes a tiebreaker. Let's say if all 50 Republicans vote against it, then that passes through the process of reconciliation. Reconciliation was used by the Democrats to pass Obamacare during the Obama term. Reconciliation was used by the Republicans to pass a sweeping 2017 tax cuts. So the Democrats are like, you know what? If we need to get it done, we will get it done. And so, like I said, this is the article on your screen, but I'm about to show you a clip from Bernie Sanders. Let's take a look at what he said today about the process of reconciliation to pass stimulus relief. Let's check it out.
Said that Joe Biden is off to a good start. Some of your progressive colleagues want him to do more. For example, Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez wants him to forgive student loan debt. Congresswoman Cori Bush wants bigger direct payments to Americans. Congressman Jamal Bowman called for a more progressive cabinet. Are they right?
Look, we're going to push Joe as the president as far as we can. But given the fact he's been in office for less than a week, I think he is off to a good start. What we have got to do is recognize that right now we're living in an unprecedented moment in American history. You got the pandemic, you got an economic collapse, we got climate change, we got a crumbling infrastructure. And what we have we have millions of people working for starvation wages. And what we have got to do is roll up our sleeves and fight for the agenda that working people throughout this country want. They want to raise that minimum wage. to $15 an hour. They want that direct payment of $1,400 on top of the $600. We've got to do that. They understand that during the midst of the healthcare crisis, we cannot have millions of people being thrown out of their houses or lack healthcare. So we have an enormous amount of work. Then you throw in impeachment, you throw in the need to get Biden's nominees confirmed. It's a lot of work that has to be done, and we're going to roll up our sleeves and do it.
So you've suggested that Democrats might need to use a process called reconciliation, which requires only 51 votes instead of the 60 to pass the coronavirus relief plan. You just heard Mitt Romney say that Republicans like him have shown that they are ready to compromise. So should Democrats move to pass coronavirus relief with 51 votes if they can't get Republican support, say, before the impeachment trial?
Well, I don't know what the word compromise means. I know that working families are living today in more economic desperation than since the Great Depression. And if Republicans are willing to work with us to address that crisis, welcome, let's do it. But what we cannot do is wait weeks and weeks and months to go forward. We have got to act now. That is what the American people want.
I'm going to get back to that segment, everyone, just a moment. I wanted to make sure that, hold on, I'll bring you back to that segment, just one moment.
You've said that Joe Biden is off to a good start. Some of your progressive colleagues want him to say that Republicans like him have
economic desperation than since the Great Depression. And if Republicans are willing to work with us to address that crisis, welcome, let's do it. But what we cannot do is wait weeks and weeks and months to go forward. We have got to act now. That is what the American people want. Now, as you know, reconciliation, which is a Senate rule, was used by the Republicans under Trump to pass massive tax breaks for the rich and large corporations. It was used as an attempt to repeal the Affordable Care Act. And what we are saying is, you use it for that, that's fine. We're going to use reconciliation, that is 50 votes in the Senate plus the vice president, to pass legislation desperately needed by working families in this country right now. You did it, we're going to do it, but we're going to do it to protect ordinary people, not just the rich and the powerful.
And what's your timeline on that?
As soon as we possibly can. Look, Donna, I know these are crazy times. We've got a new president in. We're dealing with the horrors of this pandemic, which also have got to be addressed immediately. We have not done a good job in producing the amount of vaccine that we need and certainly getting it into the arms of people.
Do you want it done before the impeachment trial starts?
We got to do everything. I mean, this is not, you don't have the time to sit around, weeks on impeachment and not get vaccines into the arms of people. You don't have time to worry about vaccines and not deal with the fact that children in America are going hungry. We got to break through this old approach that the Senate takes years and years to do anything. We got a crisis right now. We can chew bubble gum and walk at the same time. The American people are hurting, and they want us to act. That's what our candidates ran for in this election. That's what the guys in Georgia won on. And we have got to reaffirm the faith of the American people in government that we can respond to their pain.
You mentioned that Republicans have used the so-called reconciliation process before, like in 2017, to try to kill Obamacare. You accused them of abusing the process back then. You said, quote, the function of reconciliation is to adjust federal spending and revenue, not to enact major changes in policy. But you alluded to this. You are the chairman of the Budget Committee, are going to be.
And folks, this is not surprising for a politician's own words to be used against him or her. So this is not new because this happens with everybody. I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm just saying that that's the way it is. Bernie Sanders has spoken publicly. Senator Sanders has spoken publicly against the process of reconciliation in the past. So let's hear his response to this. And as you might expect, he's going to say, hey, they did it for the rich people. We're using reconciliation for those who are not rich, and we're not going to apologize for it. Let's listen to his comments about using reconciliation, a tool that he has criticized in the past.
You are already talking about using this tactic for things like paid family and medical leave, for universal pre-K and childcare, for climate change, tuition-free college, eliminating student debt, and the $15 minimum wage. How is that not what you criticize Republicans for doing?
Well, the devil is in the details of what we want to do and when we want to do it and when we have to do it. What we are talking about, by the way, are two separate reconciliation packages. Number one, the emergency one right now.
Right.
Get direct checks, get those checks into people's pockets right now so they can feed their families. And make sure that people are not evicted from their homes. Make sure that states have the funds they need to get vaccines into people's homes. That's what we've got to do right now. And then as soon as that is done, we have to rebuild this economy. Unemployment is much, much too high. Wages are much, much too low. There are structural problems that we have ignored for years. Climate change is a reality.
And you're okay doing all of that through this process that you criticize Republicans for using? These are major policy changes.
These are major policy changes, but the devil is in the details. And I criticize Republicans, for using reconciliation to give tax breaks to billionaires, to create a situation where large profitable corporations now pay zero in federal income taxes. Yes, I did criticize them for that. And if they want to criticize me for helping to feed children who are hungry, or senior citizens in this country who are isolated and alone and don't have enough food, they can criticize me. I think it's the appropriate step forward.
If Democrats don't pass these sweeping changes you're talking about, do you think that they will lose control of the House and Senate in 2022?
That's what history tells us. What history tells us is that when Clinton won in '92, 2 years later, the Democrats didn't do as much as they should have. They got swept out by the Republicans. Obama.
Folks, it's not surprising that that a lot of these the lawmakers, senators, congressmen, congresswomen are already thinking about 2022 and 2024. We've actually heard Republicans talk about this as well. In fact, one of the reasons they don't want to push for impeachment is they don't want the Republican Party to fall apart, and they don't want the Republican Party to lose support. I actually believe that even if there is a third party, which there may or may not be, I believe that the Republican Party will move closer to the center to try and get more votes that they lose if they if they get a clean break from Trump, because they need more votes. And I believe that Democrats will also sort of hover around the center or slightly left of center so they can pick up some of the progressive votes. That's where the country is headed. Because I believe that if the Republicans break from Trump, they are going to have to move towards the center with one side that is the far right in order to be able to gain traction in 2022 and 2024. I'll do some more detailed analysis of that in the future. But as you can see, they're already thinking about 2022 and 2024. Because there is obviously every country has people who are either too far to the left or too far to the right, the fringes, if you will. But the center is where majority of us live. So pretty interesting what's going on now. We're looking at the real time change in the dynamic of what's going to happen for the future of our country politically and by extension economically.
In 2008, 2010, Republicans decimated them at the polling booths. Look, Donna, this is not complicated stuff. We're in an unprecedented moment in American history. Tens of millions of people are hurting. People are watching this program, do not have food in their cupboards to feed their kids. They are sick. They cannot afford to go to the doctor. They cannot afford the outrageously high cost of prescription drugs. They're worried about climate change and what that will mean for their kids and future generations. That is where we are right now. And the American people say, we elected you guys. Do something. Improve our lives. We are in pain. We are hurting. That's in red states, Republican states. It is in Democratic states. It is in rural America. It is in urban America. It is Black, white, Latino, Native American, Asian American. This is a country that is in pain right now. And if Democrats, who have slim majorities in the House and the Senate, we got President Biden in the White House, if we do not respond now, yes, I believe 2 years from now, the Republicans will say, hey, you elected these guys. They did nothing. Vote for us, and they will win.
One of the things that has seemed to have been a distraction from the pain you're talking about is you on the internet over the past week. The fact that you have become a meme, the picture of you sitting at the inauguration in your mittens, thousands of memes. That's just some of them on the screen. I have to show you some of my personal favorites. Demi Moore. She put your picture in her famous Ghost scene. Jennifer Grey, she played Baby in Dirty Dancing. She put you in the corner, Senator. And, you're even a selfie with us on election night. So my question is, are you having as much fun with this as the world is?
I am, and not only are we having fun, what we're doing here in Vermont is we're going to be selling around the country sweatshirts and T-shirts, and all of the money that's going to be raised, which I expect will be a couple of $1 million.
Pretty smart for Senator Sanders to monetize this, but he's raising money for charity with that meme.
Will be going to programs like Meals on Wheels that feed low-income senior citizens. So it turns out actually to be a good thing and not only a fun thing.
Well, and apparently that's sold out. So you've got to start manufacturing more to give to charity like Meals on Wheels in Vermont and elsewhere. Senator, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Those were important comments from Senator Bernie Sanders from Vermont about using reconciliation, everyone, to pass stimulus relief right away, sooner rather than later. So what Bernie Sanders is saying is that, hey, we're not going to wait weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and months. We're simply going to pass the large stimulus package through reconciliation, and we need to do it. Otherwise, we lose control of the Senate. We lose control of the House 2 years, 4 years from now, when people will be like, hey, why didn't the Democrats do anything? So this is both a short-term necessity as far as the Democrats are concerned, as well as an important long-term political implication. And speaking of long-term political implications, this is exactly why the drama around the impeachment. I know how many of our viewers and subscribers feel. You're not like, do it, whatever. You feel very strongly about this. You feel that it should be done, or you feel it should. In fact, it's what I want to show you folks a survey that I did on the channel, and I want to show you folks the results of that survey right now, because I believe the results of that survey are highly indicative of how divided we are as a country, everyone. So let me actually show you this survey that was done on our channel, everyone. Let me actually bring that over here. There you go. So folks, take a look at the results of this survey on our channel. Okay, I asked, I just saw a comment on our channel that said impeachment should not proceed in the Senate because it will upset Republicans. Your reaction? We've had almost 4,000 votes. 30% said it's not a good idea. 50% said, are you nuts? This is about accountability, rule of law. And 20% of you chose whatever. Let's move forward. Good luck, President Biden. And there are a lot of comments, so you folks can definitely check that out and engage with our community there, everyone. Let me know what you think, everyone, in the comment section below. I do appreciate you watching. Thank you so much, everybody. I am grateful to you for watching. I'm looking forward to seeing you soon. I'll leave you with some important trivia. Let me know what you think, everyone, in the comment section below, and I'll talk to you soon.